It's been a while, but 2026 is here, and we are back with our AEW videos. And honestly, 2026 feels like a turning point year for All Elite Wrestling. This doesn't feel like just another season. It feels like a year that will define the company's identity. Legends are clearly reaching the final chapters of their careers, while new pillars are no longer next up, but fully established at the top. At the same time, factions that once felt untouchable are either beginning to crack or positioning themselves to completely take over AEW. This is the era where long-term contracts start coming due, where years of storytelling begin to pay off, and where AEW has to decide what it wants to be moving forward. The Restore the Feeling phase has matured, and now the company feels ready to fully commit to its future. And in today's video, we're breaking all of that down. We're taking a look at AEW 2026, 10 bold predictions, ranked from least impactful to most impactful. But before we start, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to visit AEWTalkDown.com for daily AEW news, rumors, updates, and show reviews. Let's begin. Number 10. Don Callis Family Takeover. AEW thrives when one faction feels unavoidable, and the Don Callis family dominating television in 2026 feels not only possible, but logical. This group has been built patiently, with Don Callis collecting elite talent like mercenaries rather than rushing expansion. Single stars, international names, and wrestlers who don't need protection have all been brought together under one manipulative voice. In 2026, the shift comes when the Callis family stops simply winning matches and starts controlling the promotion. Championships across multiple divisions create a power vacuum that affects every corner of AEW. Interference becomes routine, and matches feel compromised before they even begin. What makes this work is clarity. Unlike more nuanced factions, the Don Callis family offers pure villainy, with Callis serving as the perfect mouthpiece for a stable of killers. Their dominance naturally forces babyfaces from different stables to unite, setting up a major faction war story that eventually leads to a violent breaking point. Number 9. Mick Foley as AEW General Manager. One of AEW's original promises was that it would be different. There would be no on-screen authority figures, no general managers, and no constant corporate interference. That philosophy helped AEW feel sports-based and wrestler-driven in its early years. However, by 2024 and 2025, that approach began to evolve. The Young Bucks abusing EVP power blurred the line between management and authority, and original concepts like rankings slowly lost importance. AEW showed it was willing to adjust its identity when something no longer served the product. If AEW ever fully embraces that evolution, Mick Foley stepping in as an on-screen general manager makes sense. Foley wouldn't feel corporate or forced. He would feel human. With Foley no longer tied to WWE and respected by fans across generations, his presence brings credibility, creativity, and emotional weight. A Foley-led AEW could manage chaos without overshadowing the wrestlers, adding structure while staying true to the company's original spirit. And before we move on, stay connected with all the latest AEW rumors, updates, and show reviews on AEWTalkDown.com. Number 8. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland as tag champions. This prediction isn't about long-term dominance, it's about history. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland share nearly 30 years of wrestling history, from the Brood to TLC matches to bitter rivalries that defined an era. Their careers have always been intertwined. In AEW, we've already seen every stage of their relationship replayed. They entered as enemies, crossed paths with resentment, and eventually reunited to stand together against common threats. Yet one major chapter remains unwritten. They have not chased tag team gold together. By 2026, that missing piece feels ready to be completed. A short AEW World Tag Team title reign would bring their story full circle. This wouldn't be about holding the division hostage, but about creating a historic moment fans never thought they'd see on a major stage. It's nostalgia done right. Meaningful, earned, and rooted in storytelling rather than shock value. Number 7. Kenny Omega has the best year in AEW. Kenny Omega is one of the greatest wrestlers of his generation, and when healthy, few can match his influence or consistency. Since losing the AEW World Championship, his journey has been far from smooth. Injuries slowed his momentum, followed by a serious battle with diverticulitis that required major surgery. For a long time, Omega felt like a part-time attraction rather than the driving force of AEW. But heading into 2026, that perception has changed. Omega has publicly stated that he hasn't felt this good in years, and his recent performances reflect that confidence. In 2026, Omega doesn't need to dominate headlines with constant title reigns. His presence alone elevates the product. Big matches feel bigger, rivalries feel more important, and his consistency stabilizes the top of the card. Whether he wins the World Championship again or not, betting against Kenny Omega, delivering one of the strongest years of his AEW career, would be a mistake. And if you want to represent AEW while supporting the channel, check out the AEW TalkDown merch store. New designs are waiting to be picked up, so definitely take a look. Number 6. Samoa Joe retirement. This prediction isn't speculation, it's based on Samoa Joe's own words. In multiple interviews, Joe has openly hinted that he may be nearing the end of his in-ring career, emphasizing the importance of listening to his body and protecting his long-term health. AEW is the right place for a respectful, meaningful farewell. Joe's style, schedule, and aura all point toward a final run that ends on his terms, not because his body forces him out. In 2026, that could mean a carefully planned retirement story built around violence rather than decline. A final run allows Joe to face hand-picked opponents and eventually put over the next dominant force, whether that's another powerhouse or a submission specialist. Joe has nothing left to prove. Going out as a monster preserves his legacy, while simultaneously helping establish AEW's future, making his retirement one of the most emotional stories of the year. Number 5. Mercedes Mone wins the AEW Women's World Championship. By 2026, this story isn't about debut hype, it's about validation. In 2025, Mercedes Mone had one of the most impressive years of her career, becoming the longest reigning TBS champion and earning Sports Illustrated's #1 female wrestler ranking. The one thing missing from her AEW resume is the top prize. Winning the AEW Women's World Championship in 2026 completes that story. Her reign would anchor the division around a global star, giving AEW a clear centerpiece during a transition year. High-profile defenses, international challengers, and big match credibility would define her run. At the same time, it creates strong chase stories for rising stars who benefit from standing across the ring from a champion of her caliber. Putting the belt on Mone allows AEW to market the women's division more aggressively while rewarding consistency, star power, and proven performance. Number 4. Death Riders Breakup. Every great faction eventually ends violently, and the Death Riders feel no different. The group was built on ideology, sharpening iron through violence, discipline, and shared purpose. But by 2026, those same principles begin pulling the faction apart. The younger members have grown into established stars, and once that happens, unity naturally becomes harder to maintain. Whether it's Claudio Castagnoli stepping forward with a new vision, clashing with his own creation, the internal tension feels inevitable. Leadership disagreements, personal pride, and different career goals slowly erode what once made them unstoppable. This kind of breakup does more than create one feud. It reshapes the entire roster. Former faction members immediately become fresh singles contenders, new rivalries form overnight, and AEW programming gains an emotionally charged storyline that can carry months of television. Great factions rarely fade quietly. They implode, leaving consequences that define the next phase of the company. And if you really want to support the channel while getting something extra back, you can always join the channel membership, early access content, exclusive perks. Number 3. Bryan Danielson, in-ring return. Bryan Danielson stepping away from full-time competition never felt like a permanent goodbye. His passion for wrestling has always been obvious, and even after reducing his schedule, he's spoken openly about still wanting meaningful matches when the timing is right. His full-time AEW run ended without true closure. Losing the World Championship to Jon Moxley left unfinished business, and several dream matches still sit on the table, including a decisive singles encounter with Kenny Omega after their draw. Those unresolved stories make a special attraction return in 2026 feel realistic. This wouldn't be about chasing championships. It would be about artistry, legacy, and elevating the next generation. Carefully selected opponents, major events, and emotionally charged storytelling ensure every appearance feels significant. Danielson returning occasionally keeps his aura intact, while giving AEW one of its most respected performers whenever the company needs a truly special moment. Number 2, AJ Styles is all elite. AJ Styles didn't leave the gloves in the ring, and that detail sparked immediate conversation. When he stepped away from WWE competition while still holding them, it suggested the door to wrestling wasn't fully closed. That single visual kept speculation alive about what might come next. Reports about trademark filings and past interest in AEW only strengthened the possibility. Tony Khan had long admired Styles' work, and Styles himself has acknowledged considering AEW before signing his final WWE extension. Now, timing feels different. A late-career AEW run offers exactly what Styles needs: a respectful schedule, creative freedom, and opponents who match his in-ring style. Dream matches with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, or even a revisit with Samoa Joe would generate major interest without requiring a full-time grind. This wouldn't be about reinvention. It would be about finishing an already legendary career on his own terms, in a promotion built around the style that made him famous. But before we get to number 1, let's quickly take a look at a few honorable mentions. Stories and possibilities that might not crack the main list, but could still have a big impact on AEW in 2026. Konosuke Takeshita versus Kazuchika Okada. They did face each other one-on-one, but the match never truly went all out. That lack of finality becomes the real story, pushing Takeshita toward a breakout moment and creating tension within the Don Callis family that could reshape future rivalries. The acclaimed reunion time apart highlighted how effective Max Caster and Anthony Bowens are together. AEW often lets teams separate before reigniting what made them popular, so a reunion in 2026 feels natural and instantly energizes the tag division. Hangman Page's emotional arc. Hangman Page continues to represent the emotional core of AEW. His journey has always been about growth, setbacks, and redemption, and whatever direction his story takes next will likely carry strong emotional weight for the company. Number 1. Will Ospreay wins the AEW World Championship. This prediction feels less like a bold guess and more like a logical conclusion. Since arriving in AEW, Will Ospreay has consistently delivered high-level performances on major stages and weekly television alike. His evolution from aerial specialist to complete heavyweight storyteller has been steady and convincing. Winning the AEW World Championship in 2026 would signal AEW fully committing to its future. It validates the investment the company made in him and positions a globally recognized performer at the center of the promotion. Ospreay's title win would also symbolize a generational shift. The original AEW pillars helped establish the company, but the next era needs a defining face. Ospreay's work rate, charisma, and international appeal make him a natural choice. If AEW wants to showcase itself as the home of elite in-ring wrestling, Ospreay as champion becomes the clearest possible statement. And now don't forget to check out our top 10 AEW Dynamite moments ever. Just click the on-screen video and keep the AEW vibes going. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and stay connected for more AEW news, predictions, reviews, and discussions. See you in the next one. Until then, stay tuned.